So they went up and threw down the righteous one. They said to each other, "Let us stone James the righteous," and began to stone him, as in spite of his fall, he was still alive, while they pelted him with stones. A member of a particular priestly family called out, "Stop what you are doing! What are you doing? Stop, what are you doing?" Then one of them, a fuller, took the club which he used to beat clothes, and brought it down on the head of the righteous one. Such was his martyrdom. Immediately after this Vespasian began to besiege them. Vespasian, who became emperor in AD 69, commanded the Roman army that invaded Judea to put down the revolt of AD 66. Here again, then, is a chronological connection between James' death and the revolt, but Eusebius goes further. The connection for him is more than just chronological. The entire siege of Jerusalem, he says, meaning presumably the whole of the revolt in Judea, was a direct consequence of James' death, for no other reason than the wicked crime of which he had been the victim. To support this startling contention, Eusebius invokes Josephus. The passage of Josephus he quotes, although no longer to be found in any extant version of Josephus, was unquestionably what Josephus wrote, because Origen, one of the earliest and most prolific of the Church Fathers, quotes precisely the same passage referring to the revolt of AD 66 and the Roman invasion that followed. Josephus states that these things happened to the Jews in requital for James the righteous, who was a brother of Jesus, now known as Christ, for though he was the most righteous of men, the Jews put him to death. From these fragments pertaining to James, a scenario begins to take form. James, the acknowledged leader of the early church in Jerusalem, represents a faction of Jews who, like the Qumran community, are zealous for the law. This faction is understandably hostile towards the Sadducee priesthood and the high priest Ananus, appointed by Herod, who have betrayed their nation and their religion by concluding in accord with the Roman administration and its Herodian puppet kings. So intense is this hostility that James arrogates to himself the priestly functions, which Ananus has compromised. Ananus supporters respond by contriving James' death. Almost immediately thereafter, the whole of Judea rises in revolt, and Ananus is himself one of the first casualties assassinated as a pro-Roman collaborator. As the rebellion gains momentum, Rome is forced to react, and does so by dispatching an expeditionary force under Vespasian. The result is the war which witnesses the sack of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple in AD 68, and which does not end until the fall of Masada in AD 74.